Welcome to stockmarketfunding.com. What we're going to show you up here is very clear. And basically, I'm going to pull the market minder over here as well so that you can see that this is a bear ETF, naturally. And it's called the ProShares UltraShort S&P 500. And basically, it's another way to trade the S&P 500 index instead of using the actual S&P 500 index options over here. You can trade it again using this instrument here, as there are several mini instruments around Wall Street that provide the opportunity. So what I want to show people here on this particular ETF, it's an ultra short, and basically when the S&P goes down, it goes up in value. Here's the 2010 trading action right here. When we had the long move, this came down, put in a bottom, and then it's come up, and it's made its, when the markets were acting funny as they are, it puts a bottom in and it travels up from there. So this bottom here on 425 at $28 to that top at $38, that was a $10 move off of these bottoms. They are tradable in here. It's not going to give you a $10 intraday move, but it's a matter of that we put the high in, and since the S&P 500 index itself has come off its lows, and I'm going to show the S&P 500 index right here so that you can see the weekly on the S&P 500 index. And here's the SDS short right here. What's important for you to understand is that when we broke out here to the 10-week moving average and got a closing price above it, that we broke down here and we're below the 10-week moving average over here. So if this wants to continue to go higher, this will continue to go lower. And we're looking at what we would do to trade that. So if I'm going to get long the S&P, I can always use this. When it gets down here at the lows, I can buy that to hedge my position that would make a move up here. This would come down and break these lows, and I could buy that at that time, and this position would be up here that I own, and then I would come in and start moving in to buy that to protect my upside profits. If my upside profits become a risk, I cash in and let that bounce come up and cash in that way. Here it is once again. ProShares, we had a breakdown if and when we ever get a weekly buy signal, plus we've got a crossover here. So we had, you know, a top four-week reversal here, and we've had a 1, 2, 3, 4-week attempted bottom up here at resistance. So we're going to watch the two indexes so that at times, I'm not saying that the markets are out of any stretch of the imagination. I'm saying that we're going to do the third week of earnings, and a lot of S&P 500 companies are reporting this coming Monday through next week, and then we'll have the bulk of the S&P out of the way, and they're all going to report good earnings. We already know that's a forgiven. The thing about the trade is, does the market believe that everything is out of the way? And now, see, this one here is in a weekly sell signal on the actual S&P 500 chart. There are bull funds that can be bought as well. And we'll do that one next. One that we like to use is this one here. If the markets are going to go higher, we like to buy the financial bull at times as well. But hey, it made its move up here, and now it's pulling back. you can see what it is right here. It's a short. So when the bull breaks higher, the short will break lower on this one here, on the financials. One thing about the financials right now under the new FinReg bill, even though that the S&P went higher, the financials did make a move, and this is pulled back. And we're going to take a look at some where this one ends up at right here. And at times, what we'll do is there's also a bull financial that you can buy. Buy this wholesale, buy the other one. So you can use both bull and bear ProShares at lower dollar price levels. You can go short. You can short this when it's not working, just like a stock. You can also go long off the bottom when it works. And you can use calls when they work. So we're going to keep our eyes on this one here, because if this trend keeps, if this ultra short continues to go lower in value, that means that the financial institutions, not E-Trade, but Bank of America, Wells Fargo, and some of your top financials out there are making moves to the upside with the market. So we're going to be watching this in the month of next week is a very important week. So what I wanted to really focus on was some of the funds here. That SDS is another one that we're going to be watching, and that's the weekly chart. This is your bull chart up here on the S&P 500 index going up, and this one is going down. It's very important to know how we're weighted going into next week's earnings, is that once the bulk of all of the earnings are out of the system in the month of August, two things are going to happen. So far at the end of each calendar month in the last 60 days, we've seen a lot of selling and distribution coming in at the end of the month, instead of the opposite of portfolio pumping and dressing. So we're going to be really watching these instruments here. I've already done this chart once. I'm just letting you know the invert cycle. They broke it up higher and they broke it lower.